Welcome to Inside Drug Discovery. This video describes a drug recently approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The drug is ANZUPGO. The video focuses on the medicinal chemistry properties of the drug rather than clinical outcomes for patients. ANZUPGO was approved on July 23, 2023. ANZUPGO is approved for the treatment of moderate to severe chronic hand eczema, or CHE. The active pharmaceutical ingredient in ANZUPGO is delgocitinib. The drug is administered twice per day, topically as a cream. The drug sponsor is Leo Pharma. The prescribing information insert of ANZUPGO is cited through the link at the bottom of the slide and served as the main reference for this video. What is chronic hand eczema? To start, we are discussing eczema, which involves dry, itchy, or bumpy skin. Eczema is a form of dermatitis. Eczema can be triggered by a number of factors, including allergies, stress, and environmental factors. CHE is specifically a long-term eczema on the skin of the hand. Sometimes the wrists are included in this indication. CHE tends to be more prevalent in adults, and ANZUPGO is only indicated for adult populations. CHE can be treated with moisturizers, avoiding triggers as possible, and corticosteroids. ANZUPGO is only approved for patients whose eczema symptoms have not responded to corticosteroids or for patients who should avoid corticosteroids. ANZUPGO is classified as a JAK inhibitor. JAK stands for Janus kinase, which is part of the JAK-STAT pathway. JAK inhibitors act as immune suppressants, which can act as inflammatories, a favorable response for patients with chronic hand eczema. JAK inhibitors are already available in the market for treatment of rheumatoid arthritis and atopic dermatitis. In fact, ANZUPGO is already approved in Japan for atopic dermatitis in pediatric patients. It's also worth noting that ANZUPGO was also approved in Europe in 2024 for chronic hand eczema. This video covers approval in the United States. Finally, JAK inhibitors are kinase inhibitors, and like other kinase inhibitors, JAK inhibitors have found some use in oncology indications. Here are the physicochemical properties of delgocitinib, the API in ANZUPGO. Delgocitinib is a small molecule drug. When I look at these properties, I tend to think about Lipinski's rules and oral availability. These concerns are less relevant in this case because ANZUPGO is not orally administered. Regardless, note that delgocitinib's properties do align with expected oral drug space. Here we have some PK properties. This slide is a bit confusing because delgocitinib is topically administered. Topical drugs, however, can and do cross the skin and enter the plasma. A recent study reports on the PK properties of topically administered delgocitinib. The plasma half-life observed in patients with 8 days of treatment is 21 hours. Interestingly, Tmax, Cmax, and AUC values vary over the course of treatment. Tmax is shorter on day 1. Cmax and AUC are higher on day 1. The values here may reflect the efficacy of ANZUPGO over the course of treatment. Presumably by day 8, a patient's skin will have healed and recovered somewhat. Tmax therefore gets longer, as the time required for the drug to cross healthy skin would be longer than broken or weakened skin. Similarly, the amount of drug crossing the skin would be reduced. The relative bioavailability of delgocitinib, that is comparing topical to oral, is low at just 0.6%. The absolute topical bioavailability is unknown because no IV studies with delgocitinib have been reported. Last but not least, the plasma protein binding of delgocitinib is relatively low at about 25%. Very little specific information on the metabolism of delgocitinib has been disclosed. 4 metabolites, without structural information, are mentioned in the prescribing information: CYP 3A4 and 3A5 is the main metabolic enzyme, though others do play a role. Glucuronidation is also mentioned. Renal excretion predominates, with approximately 75% of an oral dose being recovered in the urine, unchanged. Note that if 75% of an oral dose is recovered in the urine, then the oral bioavailability must also be at least 75%. Therefore, delgocitinib is well absorbed orally, as one would expect based on its physicochemical properties. Let's finish with safety, infection, and tumor risks, as well as immunization complications, are associated with the immunosuppressive nature of ANZUPGO. Furthermore, JAK inhibitors like ANZUPGO are known to carry class-specific risks, such as cardiovascular risks. Adverse reactions seem to be mild and include general irritation and potentially infection at the site of administration. That concludes this summary of the approval of the new drug application of ANZUPGO, which was granted by the U.S. FDA on July 23rd of 2025. ANZUPGO contains delgocitinib and is approved for the treatment of chronic hand eczema in adults. As always, thank you for watching this video. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them underneath the video. Take care.